Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Toyota MR2. So yes, hello everyone, something slightly different today. We're going to be taking a look at the Toyota MR2. I'm really looking forward to getting this project underway. However, we're going to take a look today and see exactly what needs to be done before I start the project. However, first of all, the car has been stood outside for months and months by the previous owner and it's absolutely covered in rubbish. And I really want to get that cleaned before it starts damaging the paint. So first of all, let's give it a quick clean. That didn't go to plan. So unfortunately, whilst I was jet washing the car, the previous owner, whoever had painted this car, obviously didn't do a good enough job with taping off, masking off, or even removing any of these seals, because the paint had obviously come over to the top here, and as I jet washed it, the water got underneath and it's just lifted up the paint, and it's done it in a few different places as well. So we've got one down here, and on the other side the sill is the same. I'm actually not too upset, although to be honest, I did buy this car because the bodywork looked in pretty good condition. Unfortunately, I did buy this unseen, but I was assured that the bodywork was in good condition, which, to be fair, it was, until obviously I really got down to the nitty-gritty and seen that all the edges and stuff. I mean, you can see the overspray of the primer as well on the actual rubber seal of the window. So, like I say, I mean, I'm not too upset because there's a couple of little rust bubbles on the sill starting, which means I can now actually rectify these before I do anything else. So I'm in two minds whether to try and paint it or whether I actually have a go at wrapping the car completely myself. I've never done that before, so it could be quite a good learning curve. I have got a few other wrap projects I would love to undertake at some point, so maybe doing it on here might be a good first attempt. Okay, so obviously that paint discovery has now turned this project into a completely different ball game. However, I'm still going to do exactly what I was going to do anyway. I've jacked the car up, I'm going to take a look underneath and see if there's anything else untoward that might need some further attention. Okay, so with the car jacked up now, we're just going to have a look, and to be honest, it actually seems in pretty good condition under here. There's not a lot of rust on here at all whatsoever. Obviously this rear subframe looks as though it may have been painted at some point, or the paint is actually coming away. So that's something that I might look to readdress. It's had a custom power flow exhaust fitted at some point, and they've done a complete bodge job with this centre silencer removal or cat removal. I'm not quite sure what was here to begin with, but as you can see, they've literally caped it in this exhaust gunk either side. And do you know what? This doesn't look that brilliant, so that's something on the to-do list that might need to get replaced. The manifold looks as though it's had some kind of welding repair done on it. You can see, look, 2 patches there. However, everything else does seem in really, really good condition. I was kind of hoping that this would be the case, being an imported MR2. Obviously that heat shield there looks a little bit nasty. Maybe we'll look to get something to replace that. I'm not quite sure, maybe some kind of matting, that'd be quite good. However, like I say, the rest of it still does look in relatively good condition. Sump's pretty good, all down the sills look fine. There's a dent on the driver's side floor, so again, that might need some attention. There's some kind of nut poking out down there that's not on the other side, so let's go have a look at that. So for some reason, one of the bolts for the driver's seat looks as though it's been replaced and literally just shoved straight through the floor, and I don't think it's meant to be like that, because like I say, the other side definitely doesn't look like that. So that might be something we have to investigate further. However, again, down here everything seems pretty solid, so obviously a bit of rusty surface, but again, given that clean up, maybe apply some under seal, which I would love to do the entire underneath of this car in actual fact, so that'd be something that would rectify that. Obviously the track control arms and stuff have got some surface rust, but again, that can be easily remedied. Looks as though it's had a handbrake cable on this side recently. Again, down the front of the car, relatively good condition. There's a few cable ties holding bits and pieces up, but again, I'm not too fussed because those are kind of things that I can rectify. Passenger side now, and again, same thing, there's a bit of surface rust, plenty of overspray from whoever attempted to repaint this car at some point. Again, some surface rust just on here, but all nice and solid, and it appears that way the entire run down the side of the car, so I'm really, really happy with that. Obviously all the surface rust I can remedy, and I will remedy. Same with all the overspray, I'm gonna have to get rid of all that, but I would like to maybe take all these bits off anyway and get them powder coated or replaced with new bushes. So that's something that I might pursue. Obviously I've just got to weigh up all the costs and go from there really. Okay, so the first real mechanical issue I can find is this side spring has snapped and has moved. So maybe we will look to replace the suspension with some kind of coilover unit or something. Again, I'm just going to add up all the costs and see which route to take. All the rubber hoses and bits and pieces all seem in fairly good condition for a 20-year-old car. But again, might look into maybe some stainless braided lines to replace bits and pieces like that, just to freshen this car up. And then the other issue is obviously this tyre is completely shot. It's been flat, it's been driven on flat. Again though, these aren't even the standard wheels for this revolution of MR2. These are Rev 2 onwards wheels, and I'm pretty sure that this car is a Rev 1. So again, maybe some new wheels and tyres in the future. I'll have a look, see what I can find, but that'd be a nice little addition as well. Okay, so moving on to the interior, and I'm actually really happy with the condition of the interior. I'm pretty sure these are either Rev 4 or 5 seats, so they've been replaced at some point. However, it still has the original Rev 1 gear knob and original Rev 1 steering wheel, which I will probably replace because I cannot stand the look of these two original items. I think they're absolutely disgusting. It's also had a Sony CD player fitted at some point, just a singled in, old school, yeah. Not very good at all. So probably what I'll do is rip that out, and I would love to fit an Android double DIN head unit in there, because I think that would bring the car up to the 21st century, where you'd be able to put GPS and stuff on the screen. Obviously you'd be able to play your iPhone music, Android music, anything like that, any streaming services you use. So I really think they're a great additional bit of kit, and I think installing one in this car wouldn't look out of place. So that's definitely something on the to-do list. Okay, so what's the verdict? Obviously, with the paintwork doing what it's done, it's now turned this whole project into a completely different ball game. However, I'm not too upset that it's done that, because it now gives me an excuse to rectify any imperfections in the bodywork at all. So I can now tackle things like that rust bubble on that sill, I can tackle any stone chips, any imperfections at all, I can now rectify and make 100%. Obviously, there was always going to be a few mechanical issues that I already knew about. So that suspension, I actually already seen that core spring had snapped, so I knew that I was going to have to replace that. Like I said, it might be a good chance to upgrade the suspension in this car and replace all the bushes and stuff whilst I'm at it. Again, I'm really going to have to choose cost versus reward. So again, these are things I'm going to have to think about before we really start diving into this car. Obviously, the manifold has been blowing since I've had it and had it running, so I knew that I was going to have to do something. However, seeing the state of the repair, welding repairs and stuff that's been done on the underside to the exhaust system, it's probably worthwhile for under £300 to replace the lot. And that way it'd be with full stainless steel items and they would last probably another 20-30 years. Also, underneath the car, I'm actually really happy that there's no real rust other than that few bits and pieces of the surface rust, which I will definitely tackle and give a full coat of underseal so that this car would last another 20 or 30 years. Obviously, the interior is in really good condition. There's just a few bits and pieces that I'd love to change and just give it a real good clean and make sure everything is 100% in the interior. However, all in all, I'm actually really happy with this car and I'm really looking forward to start cracking on with it. The only problem is, do I paint it or do I wrap it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.